Hello and welcome to my video about reflections. So here we have a coordinate plane and you can see that we've got an x-axis that is going left to right. So let me use this pen. It's going this direction, right? So we've got an x-axis all the way down here going this direction. We have a y-axis that goes up and down like this in the vertical direction. Alright, so we're going to do two different things to our point, to our circle, this purple circle that says original beside it right here. We're going to do two things. So first of all, in red, we're going to be flipping or reflecting over the x-axis. So reflecting, whoops, reflecting over x-axis. Oh, it's glitching out a little bit. There you go, x-axis. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, we're going to recall that coordinates are always written x, comma, y. In brackets like this. So that's very important. So let's get the point here for the purple. So first of all, we're going to go up and we're going to notice that it starts off with our x, because it's our x-axis, of 1. So x is a 1. The second thing to notice is that our y is -2. Alright, so now we have the original point. When we reflect over the x-axis, there are two ways of going about this. I'm going to show you the first most logical way, and then I'll show you what it can look like with just numbers, which I think for most of you will be more difficult, but maybe some of you will find it more easy. So, first of all, what I think is easier, so we've gone 2 spaces below the x-axis to get to original, right? So that's -2y, or 2 spaces below the x-axis. And since we're reflecting over the x-axis, that means we're going to flip to the other side of the x-axis. So we're going to go 2 spaces above the x-axis now. So it was 2 below, now it's going to be 2 above. And so I'm going to take our little dot. Let's see if this works. Hey, yes, it works. There you go, a little dot, circle, and put it right in the same spot, except that it's above the x-axis. Whoops, that was too much. So now we have a point that is reflected over the x-axis of the original. So let's find the value of that point. So first of all, we find our x. Well, our x is 1, which is the same as before, which is interesting to notice. And our y is 2. Now, what do you notice about those two values? Well, what I notice is that the x stayed the same, but the y flipped from a negative to a positive. And the same thing would happen in reverse. It would also flip from a positive to a negative to a positive, doesn't matter. So what we notice, if you reflect over the x-axis, y value flips sign, which just means +/- Okay, so reflecting over x-axis means y value flips sign. Okay, so how about we try the other thing here, which would be to reflect. I'm going to reflect the original though. So reflecting over. Wow, my pen is not doing so good. Over the y-axis. Okay, so if we're reflecting over the y-axis, what happens? Well, you're going to notice here that currently we are 1 away from the y-axis. So we're going to go 1 away from the y-axis, but on the other side. So we want to go right over here. So, whoop, what's going on? So what we're going to do is we're going to end up in that spot. I'm just going to erase this because it's not going to let me do it afterwards. And moved it right about there. All right, so now you can see that we flipped over the y-axis. We reflected over the y-axis. So let's look at the points here. X is, wow, my touchscreen part is not doing super well, but that's okay. We're going to make it through it. We're going to make it through. Our X is -1. So we have, let's start over here, -1. And our Y is this -2. So we've got -2 for Y. So what you're going to notice compared to our original is that the Y stays the same, but the X value flips sign from a positive to a negative. So our X value flips sign. And remember, that just means it flips from a positive to a negative, or from a negative to a positive. Now, this is the case, doesn't matter what you're reflecting, if you're reflecting one point or many, which would just be a shape. A shape is just made up of multiple points. If you see here, we've got 3 points, and if we drew a line between them, we have a triangle. So you can see that points, if you have many points, it makes up a shape. So anyways, sorry, I digress. No matter what you're doing, if you're reflecting over the X or the Y axis, this is how you do it. If you're reflecting over any sort of straight line, horizontally or vertically, then it's very easy. You just count up the amount of spaces, or count to the left of the amount of spaces, and you just flip and do the same thing on the other side. If it's a diagonal line, then it is beyond grade 6, and you don't have to worry about it yet. There are techniques to it, but don't worry about it yet. I hope this video helps you guys understand how to do reflections, and good luck.